Today, we're not just dipping our toes in history. We're plunging headfirst into millennia of grand ambition, ancient myth, and the relentless whisper of power that echoes across a continent.
Yeah, it's quite a story.
Imagine a world where empires don't just rise and fall, but do so with a breathtaking, almost fated regularity, each built on the ashes and lessons or perhaps the repeated mistakes of the last.
Cycles within cycles.
Exactly. A world shaped by divine pacts, by ruthless human will, and by the potent ancient blood of dragons. We're going to journey through the chronicles of Tamriel's 3 great human empires. We're delving into thousands of years of human dominion, a tapestry woven with divine covenants, cunning ambition, and world-shaking events.
Precisely. And the core theme that will guide our journey is the profound cyclical nature of power in Tamriel. You'll see how each of these monumental empires emerged from a preceding era of profound chaos and disunity.
Right, chaos seems to be the starting point.
Always. Each was crucially defined by the emergence of a dragonborn leader, a figure destined by fate or providence. And each, fascinatingly, was ultimately built on a foundation of both undeniable heroism and, quite often, a profound moral ambiguity.
Heroism and, let's say, difficult choices.
Or outright ruthlessness sometimes. We're going to guide you through their dramatic rises, their golden ages, and their inevitable, often catastrophic collapses. We'll try to unravel the truths hidden beneath the myths and propaganda.
Cut through the noise.
And reveal how each fall, really, just paved the way for the next rise.
So let's go all the way back to the very beginning of Imperial human rule, to a time of profound despair and the dawn of what would become known as the First Empire.
Before we even get to Alessia, we need to set the stage.
Yeah. Before humanity knew true freedom, before the very concept of an empire of men existed, Tamriel, particularly the fertile heartlands of Cyrodiil, lay under a brutal ancient dominion.
To truly understand the First Empire, we must first grasp the depth of the oppression that preceded it. This was the era of the Allied Empire, often called the Wild Elves.
The Heartland High Elves, right.
That's them. They had cultivated a vast, intricate, and devastatingly beautiful civilization, but one built entirely on the subjugation and despair of the need-humans across Cyrodiil, their magnificent white cold tower.
The centerpiece later on.
Exactly. But back then it was a bastion of elven power, radiating both arcane might and, frankly, immense cruelty.
And their rule wasn't just harsh, it was utterly barbaric. The need-humans, who were the direct ancestors of the Imperials, were not merely second-class citizens, they were slaves. Full stop.
They lived under what was ominously termed the Allied Yoke, a period of immense suffering, psychological torment, and systematic subjugation.
We're talking generations born and dying in chains. Their cultures suppressed, their spirits crushed by relentless cruelty and even, arcane experiments.
Yeah, horrific stuff. Flesh-sculpting magic, ritual sacrifices. The needs were treated as little more than chattel. For labor, for rituals, for twisted art.
Unimaginable. The desperation for a leader, for a rebellion, for any glimmer of hope must have been absolutely overwhelming.
And it was. But this era of profound human suffering, however, was not destined to last forever. It was this very desperation, this unimaginable pressure, that would give rise to a figure who would fundamentally change the course of human history in Tamriel, St. Alessia.
Ah, Alessia.
Her emergence was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of truly insurmountable odds.
Yes, Alessia. She was a former need slave herself, which is incredible. It just shows that even from the depths of oppression, true leadership can emerge. She rose from those chains to become not just a military commander, but the spiritual and political founder of what would be known as the First Empire, often referred to as the Empire of Cyrodiil, or simply the Empire of Men.
The dawn of man's rule, truly.
This was the dawn of a new age for humanity in Tamriel.
Her rebellion, known as the Slave Rebellion, was far more than just a military conquest, though. It was, at its very core, a divine covenant. The mythology surrounding her is truly captivating.
Almost sacred.
It imbues her story with that weight. On her deathbed, after securing the freedom of her people, Alessia received a pivotal, miraculous gift from Akatosh, the dragon god of time.
Akatosh himself intervenes.
The legends describe Akatosh literally drawing from his breast a burning handful of his heart's blood and bestowing it upon her. This act of divine grace formed the legendary Amulet of Kings.
The Amulet of Kings. Okay, this is the central artifact for so much of Tamriel's history, isn't it? A powerful symbol, a potent magical item.
Hugely significant. It's a magnificent pendant centered around the enormous gleaming red diamond, also known as the Chimel Adabal.
Which isn't just a gem, right? It's something more.
Exactly. It's said to be an ancient allied soul gem, or possibly even an Adric relic itself, containing the very divine power and essence of Akatosh himself. It functions as a direct vessel of his will.
Wow. And the smaller gems?
Around this central diamond, Alessia herself, through her unique connection to the divine, crafted 8 smaller gems, each representing one of the 8 divines of her newly formalized pantheon.
Which was a blend, right? Nord and Imperial beliefs.
A very clever syncretic blend, yes. It helped unify the human factions.
So the amulet became the symbol of the divine right of emperors.
Indisputable symbol, yes. But its power extended far beyond mere symbolism. The covenant with Akatosh was clear and absolute, as long as the sacred dragon fires remained lit.
These are actual fires.
Yes, perpetually fed by the sublime brazier, a sacred cauldron deep beneath the Imperial city, described as Akatosh's first light. As long as those fires burned, and as long as her legitimate heirs, imbued with a specific bloodline, wore the amulet,
Then what?
the very gates of oblivion would remain shut. This created a profound liminal barrier, protecting Tamriel from the ever-present threat of Daedric incursions.
A divine shield, forged by a god for humanity.
Precisely.
And this is where the dragonborn lineage comes into play, isn't it? It wasn't just any human who could wear the amulet or light those sacred fires.
No, absolutely not. Alessia Asline, her direct successors, were uniquely imbued with Akatosh's dragon blood, a literal shard of the dragon god's own essence flowing through their veins.
Dragon blood. So that made her and her successors dragonborn emperors.
The only ones who could wear the amulet and, crucially, perform a coronation ritual to light and maintain the dragon fires. This divine protection and the establishment of the Alessian Empire was formalized in 1E243.
Truly marking the dawn of the Age of Men.
For over 2,000 years, this first empire would endure, though its trajectory was far from smooth. It was marked by shifting borders and evolving internal dynamics.
Alessia laid the foundation, but others shaped it.
Definitely. Belharsa the Man-Bull, Alessia's heir by her enigmatic consort Morihaus,
The demigod bull.
was crowned in 1E266, continuing her legacy. Later, Gorius reigned from 1E461, maintaining stability. Perhaps one of the most significant expansionist rulers was Empress Hestra.
Hestra, okay. What did she do?
She remarkably expanded the empire into High Rock in 1E1029. She also undertook daring military campaigns, invading Black Marsh in 1E1033 to suppress rampant piracy.
Argonian pirates.
Threatening imperial trade routes. Most notably, Hestra funded the colossal All Flags Navy, a united naval force, in 1E2241.
Why? What happened?
To avenge the devastating Thracian plague, a horrific pandemic unleashed by the Sload that wiped out an unimaginable amount of Tamriel's population.
Good grief. So the First Empire had immense reach, even then.
It did. But one of the most defining and arguably problematic developments of the First Empire was the zealous rise of the Alessian Order.
The Order. Things get complicated here.
Very. This was a puritanical, monotheistic religious movement, rigidly following the strict teachings of the prophet Maruk. Their doctrines emphasized a singular, supposedly uncorrupted interpretation of the design, and a deep suspicion of elven influence.
Which spread like wildfire.
Absolutely. By 1E361, they were formally adopted and stringently enforced by the imperial government. The archprelates of the order quickly accumulated immense power, wielding almost as much political and spiritual authority as the emperors themselves.
Okay, that sounds like a recipe for trouble.
And it was. What's truly fascinating and terrifying is that a radical sect of this order, known as the Maracati Selective, was actually responsible for one of Tamriel's most infamous temporal distortions.
The Middle Dawn.
The Middle Dawn, a dragon break so profound it essentially shattered time itself. Reality folded and unfolded in bewildering, contradictory ways.
How does that even happen?
They were trying to purify Akatosh of perceived elven aspects in his worship. Their ritual was so extreme it literally broke the fabric of reality for, well, it's debated how long. Centuries, maybe 1,000 years. Time didn't really work right.
Wow. Wow. That speaks volumes about the power of religious zealotry.
Immense and dangerous power. The empire also faced significant territorial and ideological challenges. While East Cyrodiil and the White Gold Tower remained its core, West Cyrodiil was a fragmented patchwork of fiercely independent Colovian kingdoms.
The Colovians, always resisting central authority.
They constantly resisted the Alessian Order's increasingly strict and often xenophobic dogma. The Order's puritanical and anti-elven stance fueled rampant xenophobia. They systematically extinguished remaining allied vassal states
Wipe that.
or drove them out. Persecuted inhabitants of even allied city-states like Miskarkand, forcing them to flee to places like Valenwood.
So not exactly tolerant.
Not at all. Their expansion efforts also hit walls. They failed to seize the strategic city of Skingrad in 1E478. Even more disastrous was their defeat at the Battle of Glenumber Moors in 1E482 during an attempt to annex High Rock.
Although High Rock did join later under Hestra.
It did, yes. But then it fiercely reasserted its independence in 1E2305, precisely because of the election order's oppressive excesses. These struggles highlight the difficulty of holding together a vast empire built on such rigid ideology.
Which really brings us to the First Fall, doesn't it?
Inevitably. After over 2,000 years, even with its divine covenant and dragon-born emperors, the First Empire began to crumble. The election order's extremism, its rigid control, its persecution, it all led to widespread discontent and fragmentation.
Regions like High Rock just had enough.
They reclaimed their independence one by one.
And the final collapse, was it sudden?
No, it was a slow, agonizing unraveling that ushered in an era of profound chaos, civil war, and sundering. This period, known as the First Interregnum, was marked by pervasive disunity and a crushing despair across Tamriel.
How bad was it?
Sources describe it vividly. The earth was sick with this sundering, the west split from the east, kings devolved into opportunistic thief barons, and no one sat on the throne in dusted generations.
The throne was empty for generations.
For centuries. And the amulet of kings, that sacred symbol of legitimacy and divine protection, was once again lost amidst the turmoil. Its whereabouts unknown.
So total breakdown.
Complete fragmentation. This chaotic period set the stage once again for a desperate yearning for a new unifying force, a new empire, and as we'll see, another dragonborn to emerge from the overwhelming chaos.
So what does this first cycle tell us?
We see the pattern. A charismatic leader, divine intervention, unity, protection. But then internal ideological rigidities, expansionist overreach, the fragility of that divine authority leading to breakdown.
And the cycle of chaos begins anew.
Tragic, but recurrent.
And what a breakdown it was. The first interregnum after the Alessian Empire collapsed plunged Tamriel into darkness for centuries. You said the earth was sick with this sundering.
Evocative, isn't it? West Cyrodiil split from the east, kingdoms fractured, nobles became thief barons, preying on their own people.
And the White Gold Tower, empty.
Empty. No one sat on the throne in dusted generations.
Yeah.
And the amulet of kings, lost. Swallowed by the chaos. It was in this profound darkness, this long night of despair, that a new hero was prophesied. Their coming foretold in fragmented mythical accounts.
Like the Remonada.
Exactly, the most prominent one. It tells of King Hrol seeking the spirit of Queen Alessia amidst echoes of old wars. Their symbolic union led to the miraculous genesis of the hero at Sancre-Tor.
A sacred place already.
Very. And there, atop that hill, an infant named Riemann, Light of Man, was found. And the truly astonishing part,
the amulet.
He was found wearing the Chimel Adabal, the amulet of kings, miraculously embedded on his forehead.
On his forehead? Wow, imagine finding that.
Can you imagine the sheer wonder and relief? A baby, crowned by prophecy and marked by the divine. The legend says a shepherdess, Sediena, guided by providence, carried the infant Riemann straight to the White Gold Tower.
To the empty throne.
Placed him on the ruby throne. And the moment he was there, he supposedly declared, with adult wisdom, "I am Cyrodiil come."
I am Cyrodiil come. Chills. An uncontested coronation.
Instantly legitimized by prophecy and the amulet itself. It signaled the unmistakable beginning of a new era.
Riemann Cyrodiil, a new dragonborn hero.
Emerging from that chaos, not just to restore order, but to solidify a new era of relative peace and build a remarkably unified culture. His reign truly ushered in the Second Empire, often remembered as a golden age.
The amulet restored, the dragon fires relit.
Back to their central role in the coronation ritual. This period saw ambitious new constructions, like the beginnings of the Imperial arena, symbolizing renewed cultural vibrancy.
But Riemann's reign wasn't just about restoring order. You mentioned integrating new influences. Akavir.
Yes, profoundly reshaping imperial identity. This led to a truly fascinating and unique cultural fusion.
Akavir is still pretty mysterious, isn't it?
Very. The lore around the Akaviri invasion and their subsequent integration is compelling. Remen didn't just repel them. With remarkable strategic foresight, he incorporated them.
Oh.
His loyal knights, later the Dragon Guard, were known for distinctive Eastern swords and painted eyes, rumored descendants of his Akaviri bodyguards. It was a true cultural exchange.
So they brought their own traditions.
Distinct martial arts, philosophy, architecture. It all started blending with Cyrodiilic culture. Their discipline and focus on dragon slaying as a spiritual calling resonated deeply with the dragonborn emperors.
Dragon slaying, that's significant later.
Hugely. And this cultural exchange is incredibly important because these traditions, particularly the martial ones, were directly inherited by the Third Empire.
The blades.
The blades trace their origins directly back to these Akamiri Dragon Guard. They were literally trained to serve the Dragonborn as ultimate dragon slayers.
A title carrying immense weight.
Absolutely. A unique blend of cultures that made the Second Empire distinct.
But even Golden Ages end.
Unfortunately, yes. The Riemann dynasty, after centuries of rule, met a tragic and abrupt end with the assassination of the last Riemann Emperor, Riemann III, in 1E 2920.
Assassinated by who?
By the shadowy Morag Tong assassins. Reportedly on behalf of the Akaviri potentate, Versailles. It was Versailles who, shortly after, declared the beginning of the Second Era.
Ushering in another interregnum.
A second interregnum, tragically dragging on for over 4 centuries. After Versailles himself was assassinated,
Live by the sword.
his Akaviri potentates, like Severi and Korak, continued to govern for centuries. But despite this Akaviri rule, the Second Empire ultimately collapsed into disunity by 2E 430. Provinces reasserted independence, Cyrodiil fragmented, ruled by pretenders.
None of whom were dragonborn.
Crucially, no. This period became one of profound, agonizing desperation. The absence of a unifying dragonborn ruler, the loss of the amulet, is acutely felt. A power vacuum.
Which people tried to fill.
Many did. In 2E 577, a Colovian duke, Verinaculaurios, overthrew Emperor Leovich, who'd controversially legalized Daedra worship.
That wouldn't go down well.
It triggered revolts. Varin, desperate for legitimacy, then attempted a ritual with the Amulet of Kings, hoping to become Dragonborn himself.
Trying to force the issue, and this is where Manny Marco comes in.
Here's where it gets really interesting and truly catastrophic. Manny Marco, the King of Worms, a powerful necromancer, was supposedly Varen's trusted advisor.
Supposedly.
He'd led Vorn to believe the amulet could make him Dragonborn. But in 2E 579, Manny Marco revealed his treachery. He corrupted the ritual, deliberately.
What happened?
The catastrophic soul burst. It sundered the veil between worlds and set Nirn adrift in oblivion. Literally tore the fabric between dimensions.
Nirn adrift in oblivion, that sounds bad.
Cosmic Nightmare doesn't cover it. Mages went mad. Arcane storms raged. Constellations warped. It affected all life on Nirn profoundly. And, insult to injury, the Amulet of Kings was lost again, hidden away in Sancrator.
Unbelievable. So another cycle. Power, collapse, desperation.
But this time the consequences were reality-altering. The desperation, coupled with manipulation. It raises that question again. When an empire falls, are lessons learned?
Or are mistakes doomed to be repeated, maybe even worse?
Exactly. Which sets the stage perfectly.
That's a perfect lead-in to our next major chapter. Because after centuries of that kind of chaos, desperation, and existential threats, Tamriel was once again ripe for a unifier. This time, Tiber Septim and the forging of the Third Empire.
Arguably the greatest of them all.
Sources describe the period before him with stark horror. Before the rule of Tiber Septim, all Tamriel was in chaos, a relentless period of continuous unrest, days and nights of blood and venom, the Imperial city itself, a den of snakemen and snakes.
Ravaged by crime, warring factions. And this unifier wasn't the benevolent figure sometimes mythologized later. Tiber Septim was born Jalti Earlybeard from High Rock.
Not Cyrodiil.
No. He rose as General Talos, a shrewd, incredibly ambitious military genius under King Culican of Falkreath. Master tactician, ruthless, driven by singular ambition.
General Talos. His early campaigns were legendary, right? The Thum.
Famed for his mastery of the Thum, the dragon shout. This earned him the name Talos Stormcrown from the Nords, who recognized its divine power.
He shouted down walls.
Allegedly shouted down the walls of Old Roldan, his reputation grew fast. With Talos at his side, Culican unified West Cyrodiil in under a year.
But his rise, controversial.
Deeply. The Arcturian heresy, a suppressed text, claims Jalti secretly orchestrated the murder of King Culican and his loyalists.
Murdered his own king.
Allegedly. Then blamed rivals from the Western Reach. Eliminated his king, cleared his path. He was then swiftly crowned emperor by his battle mage, Zoran Arctus.
If true, that's cold. Ruthless ambition.
Chilling. Shatters the myth of a purely benevolent unifier.
But his legitimacy became undeniable. How?
The amulet. Tiber Septim reputedly recovered the Amulet of Kings from the Riemann tomb beneath Sancrator.
Back to Sancrator again.
Donning it visibly confirmed him as a true Dragonborn. legitimacy through conquest and divine right. In 2E 896 or 897, amulet secured, power undeniable, he declared the end of the Second Era, beginning of the Third.
Ushering in the Septim Empire.
His subsequent conquest of Tamriel was a masterclass. Strategic campaigns, shrewd alliances, and brutal conquest. The Nords of Skyrim, recognizing his Thuum, joined him enthusiastically at Sancretor.
A rare voluntary submission.
Seeing him as a prophesied leader?
High Rock wasn't so lucky.
No. After Sancretor, the Bretons were imprisoned or enslaved, their witch kings suppressed under Imperial law. Hammer fell. He exploited their internal civil war, forebears versus crowns.
Clever.
Won the Battle of Stros Mackay with the aid of his dragon vassal, Nephali Largus.
He had a dragon fighting for him.
A powerful one, sworn to him, shows his charisma. Though he later faced an uprising, the resulting treaty was more favorable to the Redguards than outright conquest would have been. Pragmatic.
What about elsewhere? Black Marsh?
Elsewhere saw devastating sieges, like Sengshal, reportedly stricken from official records for their brutality. Black Marsh, with its swamps, was mostly avoided invasion-wise, but its borders fell, trade secured. Effective control without full war.
And the Old Merry Dominion? Velenwood, Somerset.
He didn't just defeat them, he annihilated their ruling body, the Felmer, shattered their power, allowed a figurehead Cameron king in Valenwood. Somerset Isles, though, proved incredibly resistant, especially at sea.
Their navy was too strong.
Outmatched the Imperials. Direct conquest seemed impossible, which led Tiber to a different strategy.
Which brings us to Morrowind.
One of the most pivotal moments. Morrowind was unique, never part of the prior empires, fiercely independent, protected by the living gods, the Tribunal Vivec, Alexia, Sothis.
Tiber was hesitant to invade.
Understood their power. But he desperately coveted Morrowind's ebony reserves to rebuild Cyrodiil and fund his empire.
So how did he get it?
It was Vivec, whose power was reportedly waning due to Dagoth-Ur's resurgence, who signed the armistice with Tiber Septim.
An armistice, not conquest.
Morrowind gained near-full autonomy, an empire within an empire. In exchange, the empire got ebony access and something monumental.
Numidium.
The all-powerful Dwemer Golem Numidium. As part of the deal, Tiber also made a pact with the Morag Tong, limiting their services to non-Dummer.
Smart move, avoiding the fate of Rimmon III.
Very. The acquisition of Numidium, the brass god, Walk Brass, was a seismic game-changer. A colossal, 1,000-foot-tall automaton.
Built by the Dwemer. As a god.
By Lord Kagrenac, yes. Originally powered by the heart of Lorkhan, had a terrifying propensity for causing temporal distortions. Linked to the Dwemer's disappearance, his power was unmatched.
And the Tribunal just gave it to him.
Facing their own threats, yes, part of the armistice. But it wasn't ready. Needed repairs, a new power source. Tiber tasked his Imperial battle mage, Zurin Arctis, with restoring it.
Zurin Arctis again.
Arctis created two crucial artifacts, the Totem of Tiber Septim, a control device, and the Mantella, a massive soul gem as a replacement power source, since the heart of Lorkhan was inaccessible.
A soul gem. This sounds ominous.
This is where we delve into a truly murky, controversial part of Tiber's story. Betrayal, conflicting accounts. The identity of the Underking is key.
The Underking. The undead wizard.
Most commonly identified as Zurin Arctis, betrayed and driven to undeath. But the Arcturian heresy claims he's actually Ysmir Wolfhearth, the ancient dragonborn Nord king.
Wolfhearth, who supposedly helped Tiber.
Let's focus on the heresy's betrayal account. It claims Wolfhearth, Tiber's ally, Ysmir's Storm of Kine, wanted vengeance against the elves, especially the Tribunal. When Tiber made peace instead of conquering Morrowind, Wolfhearth felt betrayed and left.
So Wolfhearth broke with Tiber.
The heresy claims Tiber, needing a power source for Numidium, contacted Wolfhearth under false pretenses, pretending he'd now decided to kill the Tribunal after all.
Gotcha.
When Wolfhearth arrived, eager for vengeance, he was ambushed by Imperial guards. Zurin Arctis cast Soul Trap on him. In his dying moments, Wolfhearth's heart or power tore through Arctis's chest, killing the battle mage.
Both died.
And then, the story chillingly goes, Tiber Septim strolled in to take the soul gem, the Mantella, now containing Wolfhearth's trapped soul. He covered it up, blamed Arctis for a coup.
So the Mantella is Wolfhearth's soul, or Arctis's. It's confusing.
Exactly. Whether the Underking is Arctis or Wolfhearth, this figure became a tormented entity, unable to die without his heart, the Mantella. Spent centuries seeking it. As vengeance, he cursed 4 of Tiber's mightiest blades to guard Sancretor eternally.
Haunting Tiber's legacy.
This ambiguity. How do we reconcile these narratives? It speaks to the complexity of history, myth versus truth, contradictory legacies, the cost of empire.
And the power Tiber wielded with Numidium.
Yeah.
It led to the warp in the west.
An immense reality-shaping power. After getting the Mantella, Tiber activated Numidium near Rimmon. The golem proved devastating. Eleanor, Somerset's capital, fell in an hour. Completed his conquest, he then used Numidium to crush neutral royal families, install loyalists, solidifying his rule.
But the Underking fought back.
Disgusted by Tiber's tyranny, yes. He confronted Numidium in an epic battle. Managed to destroy the golem, but was seemingly destroyed himself by its final flailings, left again in half-life. Numidium's remains were scattered across the Iliac Bay.
End of story.
Not quite. Centuries later, under Uriel Septim VII, the pieces were collected by the Blades. The totem and mantella were rediscovered around 3E401.
Setting the stage for another disaster.
The warp in the west, 3E417, also called the Miracle of Peace or Second Numidian Effect. Incredibly, 7 major powers in the Iliac Bay, the Empire, the Underking, even Manimarco.
7. How?
Somehow gained simultaneous possession of the totem and activated their own Numidiums. How 7 instances of a unique artifact were activated at once. One of Tamriel's greatest mysteries.
What did it do?
Defied reality. D's merged into one. Time progressed unnaturally, folded on itself. Natural disasters ravaged the region. Pure temporal chaos.
But it was called the Miracle of Peace.
Here's the paradox. Despite indescribable death and destruction, the Iliac Bay was reshaped from 44 fragmented city-states into 4 unified kingdoms. Sentinel, Warist, Daggerfall, Orsinium all swore loyalty to the Empire.
Convenient.
Extremely. The Blades doubted its divine origin, likely an accidental consequence of uncontrolled power.
And the Underking, Manimarco.
During the warp, the Underking finally reclaimed his heart from Numidium, achieving true death, often described with a massive explosion or anti-magic zone. Manimarco used his Numidium to achieve apotheosis, becoming a god.
So the warp reshaped politics, fulfilled ancient quests, created a god. Unbelievable.
One of Tamriel's most enigmatic, impactful events, a chilling testament to mortals meddling with immense power. But what happens when the Imperial line itself, the Foundation, ends?
Which brings us to the twilight of the Third Era, the end of the Septims, the Oblivion Crisis.
Our last true Dragonborn Emperor, Uriel Septim VII. Long, mostly peaceful reign, 3E368-433, but troubled by prophetic dreams, foretelling his assassination and the coming crisis.
He knew it was coming.
And accepted it. He even endured the Imperial Simulacrum, 3E389-399, when his battle mage Jagar Tharn imprisoned him in oblivion for a decade and impersonated him.
10 years. But his final fate was worse.
Far worse. In 3E433, Uriel VII was assassinated in the Imperial city by the Mythic Dawn, a Daedric cult dedicated to Marunes Dagon, Prince of Destruction.
And his heirs?
All known legitimate heirs wiped out simultaneously. The dragonborn bloodline of Alessia and Tiber seemed irrevocably severed. Before dying, Uriel entrusted the Amulet of Kings to a prisoner.
The desperate move?
But it was stolen by the Mythic Dawn's leader, Mankar Camoran, who fled with it to his own Oblivion realm paradise.
So no emperor, no heirs, amulet gone.
The ancient divine covenant was broken, the dragon fires went out, the barriers between Mundus and Oblivion collapsed, Marunes Dagon invaded Tamriel directly, Oblivion gates opened everywhere, apocalypse.
Total chaos. What hope was there?
A secret. Martin Septim, Uriel VII's secret illegitimate son, discovered as a humble priest.
The last Septim.
To enter Mankar Camoran's paradise and retrieve the amulet, they needed the blood of a divine. This led to a quest for Tiber Septim's armor in Sancretor.
Guarded by the Underking's cursed blades.
Its old bloodstains served as proof of Talos' Tiber Septim's ascension to divinity.
So Talos is a divine. That blood worked.
It did. The climax came in the Imperial city. Marunes Dagon himself manifested. Martin Septim, understanding his purpose, made the ultimate sacrifice. He shattered the Amulet of Kings.
He destroyed it, the key.
Yes. This incredible sacrifice caused Martin to mantle Akatosh, transforming into a fiery, colossal dragon avatar of the deity.
An avatar of Akatosh.
The avatar battled Dagon, banished him back to Oblivion, and crucially, permanently sealed the gates of Oblivion forever. No Daedra could invade like that again.
Sealed forever. That's huge. What happened to Martin?
The avatar turned to stone, a monument, killing Martin. The absolute end of the Septim dynasty and that specific divine covenant, the end of an era.
Millennia of Dragonborn rule. Over. What happened next?
High Chancellor Okado became potentate, stewarding the empire for over a decade. But his assassination triggered the Stormcrown Interregnum, 7 years of infighting.
Another interregnum, chaos again.
Until 4E22, when the Colovian warlord Titus Mede captured the Imperial city, was crowned emperor, and founded the Mede dynasty.
Titus Mede, so a new empire.
Yes, but crucially, the Mede dynasty lacks the dragonborn trait. They rule by conquest and politics, not divine right or dragon blood. A fundamental shift.
The empire is now just political.
Essentially, no longer tied to the Akatosh Covenant or the Amulet, this new empire has faced immense challenges. The Great War, 4E171 to 175, the sack of the Imperial city by the Aldmeri Dominion,
A devastating blow.
and the Stormcloak Rebellion in 4E201, driven partly by the desire to reinstate Telos worship, shows how deep those historical ties run, even without a dragonborn emperor.
It's fascinating. Even after the Septim line ends, the Covenant breaks, history keeps rhyming. In 4E201, dragons return, and a new dragonborn emerges.
The last dragonborn.
Called by the Greybeards, even proclaimed Stormcrown, just like young Talos centuries before.
It suggests an enduring, almost inherent need for such figures in Tamriel, even if their role changes, from emperor to world savior. The cycle continues, maybe with a different rhythm.
We've journeyed through millennia. Power, sacrifice, betrayal, Alessia's rebellion, Roman's golden age, Tiber's ruthless unification, Numidium's reality-bending power.
Each empire rising from chaos, defined by a dragonborn, built on heroism and moral ambiguity, each falling, paving the way for the next.
Their legacy is everywhere. Culture, laws, languages, the geopolitical map, interconnected cycles of unity and fragmentation, echoes reverberating through the present.
The gates of oblivion may be sealed, thanks to Martin. But does the cyclical nature of Tamriel's history mean another grand empire, maybe with a new kind of covenant, is inevitable? Or has the age of grand empires truly passed?
Leaving only echoes for the future.
In a world where heroes still rise, where dragons return, what form might the next great power take? And will it too be built on both undeniable heroism and shadowed ambition? Something for you to ponder.